I tested over 500 AI tools and most are junk. Only a handful are worth your time. That's not just Dan Martell's line from his latest YouTube video. It's a reality check for small business entrepreneurs. Noise is easy. Results? That's the hard part. I've been there, chasing late-night tool demos, thinking this was the one that would save me 10 hours a week, only to find out it couldn't even save me 10 minutes. But every once in a while, you find a tool or an agent or a system that isn't just hype, it's a pivotal moment. The kind that changes how you run and operate your business forever. The question is, are you chasing noise or building results? Hello and welcome back, my fellow entrepreneurs. I'm Kim, your host of Small Business Big AI, the podcast that helps you not just survive, but thrive in the AI era. So, here's my quick question. Are you reading from the new Playbook? Do you know how to build a business that runs strategically on its own?
I know how to build a business that runs me into the ground. Does that count?
No, that's the trap. But it's one that we're breaking out of in this series. By the way, welcome back to the studio, Hal.
Glad to be here, Kim. Glad to be back in town.
Yes. So for those of you who've been, with us for a while, you know that this is part 2 of our 3-part series called AI that actually works for small business. So last week, we kicked it off with part 1, which was how to unlock the AI you already own. Those hidden tools inside the software that you already pay for. Now this week, part 2, we're going deeper. Agents, predictive analytics, blockchain verified hires, not just shiny tech, but the foundations of a new business model for small businesses. And then in part 3 next week, we'll bring it all home, how these moves reshape your revenue and your future.
As promised, year 2, this podcast is going to go deeper. Not just tips, not just apps. We're talking about how to build a business that thinks, learns, and runs itself, all while you get back to doing what you do best.
So today, we're not just pulling back the curtain on AI. We're showing you how to build the foundation for a business that's not just bigger, but smarter.
Like Olivia, the solopreneur who never stops. Imagine an assistant who works while you sleep, never drops a lead, and never burns out. Or like Alex, the strategic innovator. You want to know how agents remove bottlenecks and how predictive signals can scale your business without scaling your headaches.
Exactly, Hal. So today, you'll also learn how to spot real AI agents that actually work for you, not against you. And also why predictive analytics sets a new customer expectation baseline. And how curated and verifiable candidates can transform your hiring game.
So whether you're an Olivia overwhelmed by the grind or an Alex chasing smart scale, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and get ready. Because your journey to becoming a technology-enabled superpower starts right now.
If you want to go from overwhelmed to in command when it comes to AI, check out my Impact Framework course. The link is in the show notes. You know how in the last episode, Unlocking the AI Tools, we touched on that I'm falling behind anxiety, a feeling and state that really stops entrepreneurs in their tracks. But what if I told you the finish line is no longer about running faster? It's about building a smarter, more leveraged business. Now really is the best time to be an entrepreneur if you do it differently.
Yeah, Kim, but I think a lot of people are listening right now thinking, okay, but how? They feel stuck in the old ways.
Yeah, I get it how. I've been there. When I opened my first insurance agency, I was so ready to build a team. I mean, great resumes, polished answers. I overlooked important stuff. I hired their story, not their reality.
The old saying is true: trust, but verify.
And the verification part came too late. I mean, reality bit me in the buttocks. I learned some hard, expensive lessons. Hey, do you remember?
Oh no, I hope you're going to bleep that out.
Okay,
We are not naming names on a public podcast.
okay, yeah, I'll bleep it out. But hey, you do remember, I hired her because I knew her brother.
Brother was a rocket. Smart, talented. He was a go-getter.
Yeah, so I assumed that she would be too.
You learned the classic rule: you can't judge a book by somebody else's cover.
Definitely not. I sure learned that one. And the sad reality, how not only did she struggle with the computer, she didn't even answer the phone well.
She was, how should I say it? Less than enthusiastic.
No, poor customer service is what I call it. And customer service matters. I won't compromise there. And when I had to let her go, I was surprised that she didn't understand why. But the real gut punch? She marched herself down to unemployment and filed a claim against me. Now, as a small business owner, that hits you right in the wallet. Not only do you pay for the incompetence of other people, you pay in time, energy, and actual dollars for a bad bet. And that's what can make you so mad.
And that experience, that pain, is why you're doing it differently now.
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting, Hal. This isn't just about curation, it's about verification. And that's the power of my training from Oxford.
The blockchain strategy program, right?
Yeah, and it's one of the most eye-opening lessons was really how blockchain changes trust. And now that I'm opening another business, a new insurance agency that I've talked about, I understand the importance of the blockchain technology, of advanced analytics, and really even smart contracts.
In insurance, trust is everything.
100%. So why not extend that same principle to hiring?
You're saying the same tech that secures cryptocurrency can secure your next receptionist?
Well, not quite like that, Hal, but close. So here's how it works. Platforms like Velocity Network, they let candidates store verifiable credentials like degrees, license, and training records on the blockchain. So when they apply, they share a digital key. You click once and you instantly know that this is real, not some resume roulette. In fact, that's how Oxford sent my credentials. And remember, and you can click on my LinkedIn profile and it's verifiable in the blockchain.
So no more calling the college registrar. No more waiting on hold for the HR in another state.
Exactly how. There's no more chasing paper, no more hoping. You verify before you hire, and that's huge because a bad hire cost you, what, 30% of their first year salary, something like that? Not to mention the client churn, the morale hit like we had, and the sleepless nights.
So you're saying hire smarter and prove the truth before day one.
Right. And that's the trifecta: curated, verified, future proof.
You're building a hiring process that feels like insurance.
Right.
Low risk, high trust, predictable outcomes.
Just like insurance business.
All right, so walk us through the actual plan, not theory, but the plan. What are you doing this month before you post a single job?
Well, three simple moves. They're owner friendly. And listeners, you can copy these if you want to. Okay, so move one is to define the outcomes. Now, outcomes are really greater than titles. And what I mean by that is before I write a job title like account manager, I'm writing outcomes. What must be true at 30, 60, and 90 days?
Examples?
Well, like inbound calls answered in under 3 rings, or COIs turned around the same day. Maybe even loss run requests completed in 24 hours. Or something like 95% of tasks closed on time and in our system. No outcomes, then no job posting. Simple as that. Because I can't interview for vibes, not in today's environment.
So hiring for outcomes, that's already one step better than most job posts I see.
And then move two is verifiable credentials. So if the role needs licensing, certificates, or special training, I'll ask for verifiable proof, digital or otherwise. There's no shame and no drama. Just, hey, share the credential link or the issuing body so we can verify. 5 minutes now saves 5 months of trouble later.
Trust, but verify before day one. There's a lot to be said about that.
And finally, move three is agent assist from day zero before you bring on a new hire. Now, I'm building with an agent in mind, an AI agent.
It's the AI era.
Right, Hal. So humans do the human parts, and agents do the always on parts.
Okay, let me poke once more. Isn't that overkill for a small shop?
It may be, but it's cheaper than a bad hire. Now, shall I remind you of
Oh, we really have to bleep that out.
yeah, but listen, it's calmer than chaos. I mean, this is the math. Bad hire equals months of lost time, churned clients, and unemployment stress plus morale damage. Now, a smart hire with outcomes plus verification plus agent assist equals fewer surprises, faster ramp, and truly happier customers.
Translated into strategist speak, that means curation beats chaos. Hire smarter with curated candidates and verifiable credentials.
And that's exactly the business model shift we're talking about. The new playbook. Hiring is no longer guesswork. So when I finally signed that lease and opened the doors, the people answering the phones, the people serving clients, they won't just be warm bodies. They'll be technology-enabled superpowers.
So you're flexing Oxford and office keys at the same time.
Hey, if I don't use it, that Oxford tuition bill becomes the most expensive desk paperweight in Florida. Now, I'm not playing the old game. Not now. This time, I have a plan. Also, Hal, for the record, is doing just fine somewhere very far from my phones. Join our growing community of small business owners who are using AI to transform their businesses. Subscribe and be part of the conversation. All right, it's time for one of my favorite segments, Coffee Table Conversations with Kim and Hal. Now, this is where we pull up a chair, put our coffee mugs down, and get into the real talk about what's actually working in business. No fluff, no hype, just a conversation between two people trying to figure out this wild, amazing, and sometimes frustrating entrepreneurial landscape.
And it can be both amazing and frustrating at times.
Yeah, you don't have to convince me of that. And I'm with you, especially the frustrating part. So let's put our coffee on the table, Hal, and talk agents, AI agents, not chatbots, not shiny apps that die after the free trial. I mean, agents that actually work.
And that phrase already makes me nervous because I've seen a lot of AI agents that couldn't find their way out of a Google Doc.
That's so true. So let's get into a practical, real talk discussion. I mean, a common problem that every small business owner out there has, and really they just can't seem to solve it.
It's like a little leak in a ship. You're always bailing it out, but it just keeps coming back.
Exactly. So for a lot of us, that leak is a follow up. Now, it's the constant drip, drip, drip of missed opportunities, the leads that go cold, the customers who feel forgotten. Now, you can have the best service in the world, but if your follow up is manual or inconsistent or just plain non existent, you're losing money. You're losing trust. You're really just losing.
So we're not just talking about another fancy bot on a website here, are we?
Nope.
This isn't about the latest shiny object on a YouTube video that promises to make you rich.
And nope again. We're talking about an AI agent.
An AI agent?
Yeah, Hal. And I want to be really clear about the distinction for our listeners. Now, an AI agent refers to a software application capable of perceiving its environment, making decisions, and executing actions in order to achieve a specific objective. Now, unlike a large language model that simply responds when prompted, an AI agent functions as an autonomous collaborator focused on resolving a defined problem. Think of it as a junior partner you hired to fix a single repetitive pain point.
So a hired hand that never gets tired and doesn't ask for a raise?
Pretty much.
And this is where the real leverage is. For a solopreneur like Olivia who's burning out, or a visionary like Alex who needs scale without adding endless headcount.
Right. So instead of a to do list a mile long, you assign one of those tasks to a digital teammate, a co pilot, if you will.
So let's talk about tangible examples.
Well, we've all felt that panic, that moment when a hot lead comes in through your website or social media DM, and you just don't have the time to respond immediately. Like you're in a meeting or you're dealing with an upset customer, or maybe you're just plain exhausted. So that's a leak, and that's a perfect job for an AI agent.
But wait, don't a lot of these platforms already have those?
They do, Hal, and that's the point. It's about moving from a simple tool to an agentic workflow. So let's take the HubSpot Marketing Hub.
I tell my clients all the time HubSpot has a great CRM for small businesses.
Yeah, that's true. And now with their AI tools, you can actually build a more agentic process. So let me give you an example. You can create a workflow that says when a lead fills out this specific form and has a score of hot, immediately trigger a personalized follow up email and then wait 1 day. If they don't open it, send a gentle text message. Wait 3 days. If they still haven't responded, create a task for me in my calendar to call them. Now, that's an agentic workflow. It's not just one action, it's a series of actions that work automatically on your behalf to solve a problem.
Okay, I like that. But isn't that just automation with better PR?
Well, maybe for older automations, first generation SaaS applications. But here's the difference: old automation is dumb, rules only. New agents can reason. They track context across systems. They don't just if then their way around. They decide the best next step. So in my case, it didn't just auto send and stop. It knew Kim probably wants to review this. Now that's context.
So it didn't try to sell your client a warranty at midnight.
No, exactly. It respected boundaries. And look, HubSpot isn't the only player. There really are many others this day and time. Like Microsoft Copilot Studio, it has long-running processes and reasoning. In QuickBooks, they've got agents predicting cash flow.
Automatically predicting cash flow?
Yes, QuickBooks. They're not just about balancing your books anymore. They now have agents that can monitor your spending and send you a notification when it's outside your typical pattern. Or they can predict your cash flow for the next 30 days and then get this, alert you to potential shortfalls. Now, it's a proactive partner, not just some reactive spreadsheet.
Okay, so these are agents that live inside of the tools we already use, like the ones we talked about the first part of the series last week.
Right. And so if you haven't already, be sure to check out episode 55, Zero to AI in one click with tools you already own.
Shameless plug.
Always, Hal, always.
But as for the AI agents in action, what about a solopreneur like Olivia who wants to automate her entire content process?
Well, that's a great question, Hal. So think of a content creator like us, who wants to turn a single podcast episode into 10 pieces of content. Now, with Google's Gemini, you can now build a custom Gemini agent. So you could feed it your podcast transcripts and then tell it, extract 3 key quotes for Twitter and write a 10-point summary for a newsletter and draft 3 SEO optimized blog titles from this transcript. Now, it's an agent that understands the context of a 30-minute conversation and then completes a complex multi-step task without you having to be there every step of the way. So it's the closest thing to hiring a full-time content intern with really out the cost or management overhead. And then, like for Alex, the strategic visionary. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. It's not about just automating one task, it's about bridging silos.
Silos? Explain.
Okay, so let's go back to my agency and use an example with Microsoft Copilot Studio. So, with it, we'll be able to build an agent that connects our sales process to our customer service process. Imagine a new client signs up. The sales agent can automatically trigger a customer service agent that says, "Hey, new customer alert." Send them a welcome email, create their file in our CRM, and then schedule a 15-minute onboarding call with them. The sales agent hands off the baton to the customer service agent, and there's no human in the loop, no human error. The process is seamless.
And I've heard that it can be done with Zapier also.
Exactly how. It's simply about reasoning, connecting the dots, building an interconnected nervous system for your business. And let's forget the hype. It's not about that. It's about the outcome. And for a small business, a few strategic agents can mean the difference between burnout and breakthrough.
Like you said, it's the autonomous teammate that is always on, solving one specific problem you gave it.
Or one night where you don't wake up at 3 a.m. thinking, "Did I miss that email?" Here's the bottom line: noise is everywhere. Shiny tools, empty promises. You open your phone and it feels like 1,000 voices are screaming at you to buy a new tool or to learn a new trick. But a small business doesn't win with noise. It wins with outcomes. It wins with leverage.
It's what separates the builders from the burnouts. It's how you outpace your competition.
And that's how you get back your nights and your weekends. So let's zoom out. We started today with Dan Martell's filter. 500 tools tested, most junk, only a handful worth it. Now, that's the truth in small business right now. Shiny tools everywhere. Results rare. But here's the shift. When you combine 3 moves, agents that actually do the work, predictive analytics that see the future, curated, verifiable hires that you can trust, you're not just running a business, you're building a new business model.
And that's the part most owners miss. They chase the app of the week. They forget that customers don't care about an app stack. They care about reliability, they care about speed, and they care about trust.
Exactly. So here's your challenge. One small step, align with the work that we've been talking about today. For those of you like Olivia, the solopreneur scaler, I want you to go into one of your existing tools, like your CRM or your email marketing platform, and then find its AI features.
Don't just look at them. Turn on one predictive feature that helps you prioritize your time, like a predictive lead score.
And for those of you who are like Alex, the strategic visionary, I want you to sit down with your team and identify one bottleneck in your process, just one.
Then think about how an AI agent could take over that task. Not a big, complex project, just one repetitive, time-consuming job.
And if you're about to make a new hire, ask them about a verifiable credential from their past, like a professional certification, an online course completion, anything that can't just be put on a resume.
And you don't have to boil the ocean. One small step a week is enough.
That's right. Now that's it for today's episode of Small Business, Big AI. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now, remember my story from earlier? The one about going from Oxford to Office Keys? Well, the truth is, that agency, the one I'm building now, when it opens, it's going to be a living, breathing example of a new business model, an AI era agency. And you can build yours right alongside with me, one smart decision at a time. You keep listening, I'll keep sharing.
Small steps that lead to big changes, because that's what this series is all about. Building businesses that think, learn, and run themselves. This is how you build technology-enabled superpowers.
And if you're ready to take your small business to superhuman levels with AI, subscribe, leave a review, and tag us when you take action.
Be a part of the conversation.
Until next time, keep embracing change, keep innovating, and remember, the future of your business is bigger than you think. And the steps you take today will shape the legacy you build tomorrow. Now, I'm Kim.
And I'm Hal.
And this has been Small Business, Big AI. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.